Welcome back everyone to the video, and today I want to talk about the Rams, especially, well, I guess specifically their offense for this video. Currently we are doing a series where we're going to be doing every single division one at a time and kind of just predicting every team's season within each division. So for instance, we just uploaded the NFC South this past Wednesday, or last Wednesday. Next will be the AFC South, and then so on. So we will get to the AFC West at some point, but before we do, I did want to do a quick video going over the offense like I've done for a lot of teams now over the course of this offseason, and the Rams are a really exciting one for me. Now, I first have to really own up to my take probably a year ago now, where I wasn't high on the Rams at all going into last season. I thought they're going to be honestly like a bottom 5, bottom 10 team in the entire NFL. I think at the time my reasoning was guys getting older, and I didn't have a lot of faith in Matthew Stafford after, the injuries he had, and the team as a whole, just the talent wasn't really there in my opinion. And then out of nowhere, you have guys like Puka Nacua stepping up, Kyren Williams stepping up, Matthew Stafford proving me wrong, and it turned out to be a really, really fun offense. Stafford ended up throwing for 3,965 yards, 24 touchdowns to 11 interceptions, and he did miss 2 games, and to be honest, is that the craziest season he's ever had? No, but given the expectations and how tough that division is with the 49ers and Seahawks, and they're being pretty competitive, those are good numbers in a year where I don't think Stafford really was projected to be, all that. I don't want to say he was projected to be, bad. I don't think that was the case, but I don't think the case was to have a 1,400-yard receiver, whether that was Cooper Kupp or a rookie. I just don't think that was really the expectations, but the Rams definitely surpassed that, and Matthew Stafford played quite well. And in the rushing game, again, Kyren Williams, looking at just his yards, he had 1,144 yards and 12 touchdowns. That's a phenomenal season. And then you look and that he missed 5 games. That is mind-blowing to me. You missed 5 games, you still eclipsed 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns. To get those numbers in a season, that's a pretty successful year, and to do it in 5 less games is incredibly impressive. So yeah, they had a really exciting rushing game last year, thanks to Kyren Williams and also Royce Freeman, piled on 320 more yards as well. But then in the receiving game, so Puka Nacua out of nowhere, I believe he was the 5th round, comes in, plays every single game, really lights it up from week 1 to week 17. He really just had a very consistent year, and I don't want to say he was dominant, but man, he was pretty close to dominant at least. 160 targets on the year with 105 receptions, 1,486 yards with 6 touchdowns. Phenomenal season again for any receiver, especially for a rookie that really had a little bit of noise coming into the NFL last year. Nothing near these expectations. Absolutely shattered them. Cooper Kupp, 737 yards, 5 touchdowns. However, he did miss 5 games. So had he played those, he probably hit 1,000 yards as well. And you have Tyler Higbee getting 495 with 2 more touchdowns. You have Tutu Atwell getting 483 with 3 touchdowns. This was an exciting offense. I mean, it was really, really dynamic, and I think what was really cool about it was because of these guys like Puka Nacua and Kyren Williams, people that weren't really projected to, put up those numbers at all. That was the reason this team performed so well. It's because of these unsung guys, or not even unsung, really, just guys with not a lot of expectations or not even well known, and they come in rookie year, whatever it may be, and they put up huge numbers and get their team to the playoffs. And then coming over to the Rams 2024 depth chart, Jimmy Garoppolo is suspended. I'm not gonna lie, I did not know that. I don't know what it's for. I really, if it is performance enhancing drugs, then that dude got scammed because they weren't enhancing a whole lot. But Stafford's still there. Kyren Williams, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Demarcus Robinson, and Tyler Higbee. And then Tutu Atwell, of course, as well, and Blake Corum. So for me, looking at what we had last year, I don't see the Rams really, falling off or struggling. I think it's going to be about the same pace, and I think they might actually have a better rushing game because of getting Blake Corum from Michigan, national champion actually. So I'm really excited to see that Kyren Williams and Blake Corum kind of 1-2 punch. I know as far as my, all the fantasy football players out there, it's a little questionable now to have Kyren Williams. How much is Blake Corum going to be involved? Is it going to take away reps? All that kind of stuff. Fantasy football aside, though, and just, looking at it for trying to win games, I mean, that's a pretty good backfield. Even if Blake Corum just, slightly decent, I think, I think his floor as a rookie, I think it's a solid running back, too, in this offense. Because, again, Kyren Williams can be the workhorse if needed. He doesn't have to, take snaps off. This is someone that missed 12 games and still got 1,000 over 1,000 yards. So, you know, he can put in the work if need be. But I do think Blake Corum's a great addition, so I love that. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and Demarcus Robinson, and Tutu Atwell. I wouldn't say it's like a, you know, amazing wide receiver trio, but wide receiver duo, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, that's a very, very good duo with a very high ceiling. You know, who knows if Puka Nacua will replicate what he did last year. I don't see him getting less than 1,000 yards, to be honest. 1,400 is obviously a phenomenal season for any receiver. So, you know, if he can do that again 2 years in a row, that would be incredibly impressive in my opinion. I would see him more like 1,200, assuming Cooper Kupp stays healthy and like he plays all 17 games. Then Kupp probably gets at like 1,000 yards. Puka Nacua probably gets more like 1,200 is kind of how I'm picturing that. But then, you know, Demarcus Robinson, Tutu Atwell kind of competing for that wide receiver 3 spot. Tutu Atwell, you know, he's not that bad of a deep target. I just can't talk apparently. But he's not that bad of a deep target, and I know they use him on some kind of like some sweeps and stuff like that. So, you know, he's a very dynamic playmaker as well. And Tyler Higbee, he had a solid year last year too. So, for me, this Rams offense, I think is a pretty high ceiling. I think it's going to be very exciting as well. Last year, I was sleeping on them. Kind of disrespected Stafford a little bit. I learned from my mistake last year. I'm really excited to see the Rams offense this year because, again, you know, relatively low expectations last year. You still come in, you light it up, you go to the playoffs, you lose a very close one. You know, they honestly almost beat the Lions in Detroit in that wild card game. So for me, it's definitely not going to be an easy path in a division with the 49ers and with a team like the Seahawks. It's always very competitive with the Rams. And the Cardinals kind of on the come up, which I'm wearing the Kyler Murray shirt for some reason, which is like, you know, Panthers fan, Rams video, kind of random, I guess, but whatever. So it's not going to be easy, but, you know, this is an offense with a very, very high ceiling, and I'm really excited to see how they attack this season. You know, they open up Sunday Night Football against Detroit, you know, week 1. That'll be really cool. Back in Detroit where they just lost that wild card game I mentioned before, but, you know, other than that, I think this is a very, I wouldn't say, like, incredibly difficult schedule, but it's definitely not easy. You know, some of those out-of-division opponents, like the Jets, should be pretty good. The Bills should be pretty good. The Eagles should be pretty good. You know, the Bears should be pretty good. You know, I'm sure the Vikings will be relatively competitive as well. So it's going to be a pretty tough schedule, but if that offense can replicate what they just did last year, you know, even, you know, slightly to what they did last year, they're going to be really tough to stop. It's going to take a very good defense to slow that down, especially a very good secondary. Because, again, Stafford was getting the ball out quick last year. You know, they had screens dialed up. They had deep plays dialed up. I mean, they really utilized Puka Nacua, I think, perfectly to his strengths as a rookie. So now I think it's about, you know, trying to replicate that, do it again, but have Cooper Kupp back and healthy, and then really see what you can do with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. And now you have Blake Corum to have backfield with Kyren Williams. Like, there's a lot of talent all over this Rams offense. And honestly, I don't know an exact record prediction. I haven't done that yet. That'll be for like the video I mentioned earlier whenever we do the AFC West, or the NFC West, excuse me. But I think the Rams can hit 10 wins this season, which I think would be a great record. It's a pretty tough schedule. Relatively tough schedule, but I think they get 10 wins out of it. I think this offense will be very, very good. But guys, let me know down below who you are most excited to see on this Rams offense for 2024. For me, it's probably year 2 Puka Nacua. I know a lot of people want to see Cooper Kupp back and healthy, or even Blake Corum. So let me know down below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, closing in on 700. So we're getting there. I appreciate all the support. We'll have more NFL videos like this pretty soon, as far as I guess videos like this, but also a lot of team rankings, player rankings, and then any other, you know, breakout player stuff like that. So it's always full content on the channel. I do really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.